Is there no one on this planet to even challenge me?
The eternal comic book hero Superman could do a lot of things. Catch bullets, stop locomotives, see through walls, and jump buildings too. What even the Man of Steel could not do was alter the outcome of a presidential primary. But in the Democratic Party, superdelegates can do just that. And if Clinton and Obama keep running neck and neck, they might. No matter how you vote, if the race is close enough, these folks can lay a trump card on the table that could render millions of your votes effectively worthless. So who are these shadowy figures with thousands of times the power of you, a mere voter? Superdelegates are the offspring of political discord. Decades ago, Democratic Party leaders became worried that rank and file, or merely mortal delegates to the convention, were too often choosing nominees who could not win, or who could, but like Jimmy Carter, were people the Democratic elite did not really like. So the Dems created superdelegates who can attend the convention and vote for whomever they choose. Superdelegates include distinguished party leaders like Bill Clinton, Democratic members of Congress, and governors, too. There are almost 800 superdelegates in all, about a fifth of the people directly involved in the picking of the Democratic nominee. And they do not have to answer to or even consider what you want. Up in New York, Mark Halperin, editor of Time.com's The Page and a senior political analyst for the magazine, joins us now. And in Washington, Democratic strategist and CNN political contributor Donna Brazile, who is also a superdelegate.
No shadow.
Why? Why are you a superdelegate?
Because I'm a party activist. I don't wear a cape. I'm not faster than a speeding bullet.
No secret handshakes?
No secret handshake. I don't drive a Batmobile.
Should you?
And you don't want to see me in spandex. So what makes me super?
Yeah. Should you exist? Is this democratic to have you?
Yes. Look. We are party officials, party activists. We're teachers. We're steel workers. We're carpenters. Yes, we're Nancy Pelosi. We're Barack Obama. We're Hillary Clinton. We're Bill Clinton. We're Jimmy Carter, Al Gore. You get the picture. We're a little bit of everything. There are 796 superdelegates. Many of us have been elected at the state and local level. Some of us, like myself, I was appointed in 1998 by Bill Clinton and Al Gore and Dick Gephardt. And yes, our role is to help build the party, not to decide elections. I get 2 votes. I get a vote on Tuesday in the Democratic primary here in the District of Columbia. That vote is mine. But as a superdelegate, I believe that vote belongs to the American people, and therefore I will withhold committing to either candidate until the voters decide.
Oh, well, okay, hold on. We're going to come back to that second vote of yours in just a moment here. Mark Halperin, same question to you. When we talk about this, it's the Democratic Party. A lot of voters seem to look at the superdelegates and say, this ain't very democratic. Why not just let the rank and file Democrats of the country decide?
Tom, you know what I'm into? I'm into what is rather than what maybe ought to be. The superdelegates exist, and Donna and others can say, oh, this could be unfortunate, this shouldn't decide it. I think 2 things are true. One is, all this will be fine if the superdelegates take their responsibilities seriously. They pick the person they think would be the best president rather than who's the strongest arm twister when the people are trying to get their votes from the Obama and Clinton camps. The other thing is, what's dangerous for the Democratic Party, if this is decided by the superdelegates, and at this point I think mathematically that's more likely than not, the loser is going to have to deal with the implications of that. And if the loser wants to take up the battle cry that you're suggesting, that this is undemocratic, the Democratic Party is going to have a hideous convention in Denver.
Wow, it's amazing to say that you think it's more likely than not right now. Listen to what Howard Dean, the DNC chairman, said about this, because he clearly fears exactly what you're talking about, Mark.
I think we will have a nominee sometime in the middle of March or April, but if we don't, then we're going to have to make some kind of get the candidates to get together and make some kind of an arrangement, because I don't think we can afford to have a brokered convention. That would not be good news for either party.
Well, Donna, this is the chairman here saying superdelegates are a bad idea, essentially, because if they really make the decision, they shouldn't be making the decision. So why don't you get rid of them?
We should not get rid of superdelegates. We should wait until voters in Nebraska and Louisiana and Washington State and West Virginia, North Carolina, Texas, Ohio, we should wait until they vote. Let's listen to the voters in Pennsylvania. Give them an opportunity to speak. And at the end of the day, after all of the voters have spoken, if we don't have a clear nominee, then superdelegates should throw their weight around.
But how could you possibly not have a clear nominee? In the end, somebody gets more votes than somebody else. End of story. All the superdelegates get on board with the more popular one. Why not?
Well, that's conventional wisdom, but this is an unconventional year. We have two historic candidates. They're drawing large crowds. They're enthusiastic. People are coming out of the woods to see Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. Why should we shut down a debate right now because of some fear of a brokered convention? This process will work its way out. I think at the end of the day, we will have a clear nominee sometime in May.
Yeah, Mark Halperin, this is what I want to ask you about. The Democrats are the very people who have been screaming about what happened to Al Gore because of the Electoral College and because of the courts. I don't see how the party is going to possibly say to their followers all across the country, now we've picked a candidate who didn't win the popular vote.
Here's the problem for these superdelegates. You say the popular vote, but maybe the judgment should be, well, we'll be for the one who has the most delegates. That may not be the same person, a la what happened in 2000. The other thing is, one guide that some people recommend for superdelegates, and some superdelegates have adopted this, is I'll be for the person who wins my state, or in Donna's case, the District of Columbia. That's an interesting rule, or maybe if they're a member of the House, the person who wins my congressional district. If everybody follows that rule, maybe it's a simpler thing, but the point is not everybody will. You've already got superdelegates who are committed, who are already for the person who, in primaries and caucuses have been held, that doesn't match up with what their voters said. So all the superdelegates, as I said before, I think they're not going to go away. It's an interesting theoretical question for future elections. Should the DNC reform their system? But for this cycle, I think they should all just focus on a simple thing: who they think the best president would be. If they do that, they can all have a clear conscience, and the candidates can feel good about it and not think it's based on backroom deals.
Mark, what do you think happens if it goes down to the superdelegates and Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton are essentially tied? Who do they pick?
Donna Brazile gets to be Secretary of State, or whatever else she wants. You don't tug on Donna Brazile's cape. That's the most important lesson for anybody trying to court her vote. Look, I think that if it's essentially tied, remember, there's another myth going on here, which is that the delegates who have been elected in the normal process are pledged. They are not. They're supposed to vote who they were elected to vote for in the first ballot, but they don't have to. And so I think if it goes to the convention and this thing is not settled, no one has a mathematical majority, which again at this point looks more likely than not, it's not just going to be the superdelegates. The whole thing is going to be a big mess. And then I think something which I ruled out previously absolutely, I think comes into play. The only solution for Howard Dean, Donna Brazile, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, everyone else may be a coin flip and they become a ticket.
And Donna, I'll leave the last word up to you. You always shoot straight on this. You've suggested that you will quit if you have to pick the winner.
I believe that if this process is prematurely shut down because we want to rush to get a nominee to take on John McCain, meaning we will not hear from the voters in some of the upcoming primaries and caucuses, I will vacate my position on the Democratic National Committee. I will always be a Democrat. I'm a lifelong Democrat. I love my party, but I will not support a party that shut the vote down. And on that note, we have to do something about Florida and Michigan. Those two states did not comply with the rules, but we should find a way to ensure that the voters in those two states have a voice in this process as well.
That's a can of worms that's going to have to go to another day. Thank you.
A whole other segment.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. We'll get to that segment later on, maybe next week. So much for the theory.
I get 2 votes.